If I were to ask you to name one Chinese duck dish, most of you will probably say Peking duck or Cantonese roast duck, both with that brown, crispy skin and tender meat inside. But at one point in the United States, a few Chinese restaurants offered an extensive menu of duck dishes in the 20s and the 30s. So today's episode is going to be all about ducks. Hi, my name is Christy and this is the American Chinese Food Show. Let's do a quick overview of duck in the history of Chinese cuisine. The first time cooked duck was mentioned in literature in China was in the Western Jin dynasty around the year 300, almost 2,000 years ago, by a man in Nanjing. Roast duck was a rare, delectable food item along with fat on the back of a bear, deer jerky, and wine-marinated crabs. It was not until the Song dynasty when ducks became more like part of everyday life. According to the records of a pipe dream, stores were selling and hawking salted duck and seared duck in Hangzhou. Fast forward to the Qing dynasty, a collection of food essays in Tao Tao has an entire chapter on ducks with over 80 recipes, including 8 treasure duck, cold duck, marinated duck, roast duck, and many more. It's not that hard to put a dozen chicken, duck, or squab dishes on a menu when the cooking method and ingredients are very similar. Take the restaurant Tao Tao in San Francisco as an example. Here's the menu in the 30s. You have apin, which is thinly sliced duck pieces, then tossed with mogu, butter mushrooms, chougu, straw mushrooms, or landao, snow peas. And you do the same thing for chicken and squab. Now you easily have 9 dishes. But what really caught my eye was a menu in 1922 from Chinese Tea Garden at the Grandview Hotel in San Francisco. They offered 4 whole duck dishes, most of them I have never heard of before. Chai Pa Ap, Cai Ba Ngap, it means bundled firewood duck. Sun San Ap, Sun Xin Ngap, celestial duck. Sai Wu Ap, Sai Wu Ngap, West Lake duck. And King To Wo Sui Ap, King Do Wo Xiu Ngap, Mandarin pot roast duck. How cool are these names? Mandarin duck is the only one I've heard of before, so what are all these duck dishes? Bundled firewood duck. This dish is part of the family Tam cuisine. In the late Qing dynasty, a man Tam, originally from the Canton province in China, joined the imperial government in Beijing. He hosted dinner parties combining Cantonese cuisine and Lu cuisine, the cuisine of the north, founding the family Tam cuisine. It has about 300 recipes, many soup or stew that require hours and hours of slow cooking to achieve that rich and deep flavor. Bundled firewood duck is one of his signature dishes. After steaming a whole duck and removing the bones, cut the duck into thin strips, tie them with edible moss or kelp along with cured ham, bamboo shoots, and shiitake mushrooms, line them up on a plate, and steam again. You can either finish it off with a slurry made with chicken stock or turn it into a soup. I have never had it before, but I would love to try to make this dish one day. Now you know what this dish is. Take a guess why this dish is called bundled firewood duck. Of course, it's because they look like bundled firewoods. Let's find out more about the next duck dish on the menu, celestial duck. The internet seems to be at odds on the origin of this dish, probably because it has a very common name. Many regional cuisines have their own version of celestial duck. There are at least 2 versions, one from the Lu school, another from the Sichuan school. You deep fry the whole duck, then stuff it with ginkgo nuts, jujube dates, and lotus seeds, and steam until the duck meat is so tender it could fall apart. But was this what the Chinese Tea Garden offered to its patrons in San Francisco Chinatown in the 20s? I don't think so. The ingredients listed on the menu might give us some hints. Boneless duck with ham, mushrooms, and condiments. This actually sounds more like the Hangzhou version where cured ham and bamboo shoots are used as stuffing. But it doesn't make sense that we would be seeing Hangzhou dishes in so early in the 20th century when the majority of Chinese in the United States were Cantonese. So I'm more inclined to say this dish might be the Hakka version of celestial duck. You first marinate the duck with rose wine or Shaosheng wine, stuff it with cured ham, shiitake mushroom, and depending on the chef, other ingredients like dry scallop chestnuts, slow cook it for at least 3 hours. This is the version of celestial duck you can find today in Taiwan as well, because a big part of Hakka cuisine is preserved there from the Hakka migration. My ancestors are from Hakka, and I sadly have never tried this dish before. I wonder what condiments they add as stuffing at the Chinese tea garden back in the day. Next, firewood app, West Lake duck. This is yet another dish with a very common name. West Lake is a freshwater lake in Hangzhou, China. The lake is famous because it influenced poets and painters throughout Chinese history for its natural beauty. Judging from the description though, the only difference between celestial duck and West Lake duck is Chinese parsley. The last one, King Tao Wo Sui Ap, King Tao Wo Siu Ap. Broiled duck, ham, almonds cooked in Canton style. I believe this might actually be almond pressed duck, or in another name, Mandarin pressed duck. A whole duck is seasoned and either steamed or simmered until tender, deboned, then coated with a batter and deep fried until crispy. Crushed almonds are sprinkled on top. This doesn't really feel like it's a traditional Chinese dish. However, according to Irene Kuo's The Key to Chinese Cooking, published in 1977, one of the most popular dishes in Chinese restaurant here, this Cantonese specialty originated in the north and was brought south at the end of the Ming Dynasty in the 17th century, when the Manchus took control and many people fled to the north. I don't know how true this is. I could not find any other records on Mandarin pressed duck. There is a variation that became pretty popular in Hong Kong in the 70s, where mashed taro is used to wrap around the duck, pressed into square shapes, and then deep fried. When you bite into it, you first get that crispy fried goodness, then the savory mushy taro, and then the juicy duck. I wonder how similar the two are. The King Tao Wo Sui Ap in San Francisco in the 1920s and the taro fried duck I had when I was a kid. According to Wikipedia, there were only 3 restaurants that still serve Mandarin pressed duck on their menu because it's just too labor intensive. They are the Mai Kai, a Polynesian restaurant in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Su Hong Eatery, a Chinese restaurant in Palo Alto, California, and Trader Vic's in Emeraldville, California. Su Hong is permanently closed. Mai Kai is temporarily closed and will be part of a joint venture with a real estate investment and development company. You know what that means. And Trader Vic's no longer serves Mandarin pressed duck. It's not a disappearing dish. So was the Chinese tea garden some sort of specialty duck restaurant? No, it turns out many other restaurants in San Francisco at the time also offered these duck dishes. The Moon Cafe probably had the longest list, even though the English menu only offered siu ap, bolo ap, and Tao Tao San made duck cooked in 3 different styles. The Chinese menu had 13 duck dishes, including another Hakka dish, dry tangerine peel duck, Chen Pei ap, and sunflower duck, Kuai Fa ap, a dish made of layers of cured ham, bamboo shoots, tofu slices steamed in a bowl. It looks like a sunflower when the bowl is turned upside down on a plate to serve. Unfortunately, without any description or English names, it's hard to figure out exactly what some of the other dishes were. I had a lot of fun learning more about duck dishes in this episode. I hope you did too. Let's go out there and get some duck. If you like our content, please subscribe to our channel. See you soon.